You know, it's easy to look at this game, Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs, and say, these are two terrible teams, two of the worst teams in the league, maybe. Oakland at 2-4, Kansas City at 1-5. What a terrible game. But I want to look at it from a little bit of a different angle. These two teams both play in the AFC West. We saw last year, 8-8 won the AFC West. Right now, 3-3 is leading the AFC West. The Denver Broncos appear to be the best team in the division. But Denver, in their 6 games, they've fallen behind by 20 points or more in 4 of those 6 games. So they're by no means a dominant, unbeatable team. My point is, both of these teams are still in it. As strange as it sounds, Kansas City at 1-5, they're only 2 games back of first in the loss column. We're not even in the midway point of the season. So this is not like it's a game in Week 12 where these teams are out of the playoff race, which both these teams may be in Week 12. But we're not to that point yet where these teams have nothing to play for. A lot on the line on Sunday. Kansas City is currently installed as a 1-point favorite in this game on BETDAQ. 41.5 the total. I mean, the Chiefs have been absolutely horrible this year, 1-5. Their last game, probably their worst performance of the year, a 38-10 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa's not the type of team that should be beating somebody 38-10. They don't have that type of offense, and they're not that dominant on defense. That's exactly what they did to the Kansas City Chiefs, though. Kansas City has since had a bye week, though, to regroup. There's been a change at quarterback. Now, Brady Quinn, he did start the last game at Tampa Bay, but he was not the starter in the beginning of the season. That was, of course, Matt Castle. Brady Quinn is the starter now going forward for the Kansas City Chiefs. Quinn has, quite frankly, not been very good so far in his NFL career, but you might say he hasn't gotten a real fair shot, at least not since Cleveland. He got a shot in Cleveland, but he was a much younger player then. Throughout his last couple of stops, especially in Denver, his last stop, he really didn't get a chance to get out on the field and play. Now, you might say that's because of what he did in practice and in the preseason, but Brady Quinn will get his chance now. We'll see if he can play a little bit better in this game than he did against the Tampa Bay Bucs. Lucky for him, he's playing the Oakland Raiders, who are not very good on defense. The Raiders, 27th in the league right now in points allowed. There was hope that Dennis Allen, the new coach of the Oakland Raiders, he's in his first year now. There was hope he was going to really turn around the defense. He was Denver's defensive coordinator last year. That hasn't really happened. I mean, Oakland's shown slight improvement on defense in nearly every statistical category, but that's mainly because they were so bad on defense last year. It's not that they're playing good defense this year, but you know what? Neither is Kansas City. I mean, you look at the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are 29th in points scored and 30th in points allowed. That pretty much says it all. The Raiders aren't that much better, by the way. 25th in points scored, 27th in points allowed. But the Raiders have at least shown flashes on offense. Carson Palmer can still throw the ball. There's been a couple of games where they've been really good passing the ball downfield. The Pittsburgh Steelers game comes to mind. And really, Oakland should have beaten the undefeated Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Blew that game at the end, but that's sort of what the Oakland Raiders do. I mean, this is an unreliable, inconsistent team, 2-4. I mean, what more do you expect? Now, they have had success recently against the Kansas City Chiefs. More specifically, they've had success in Arrowhead Stadium. They play in Arrowhead every year, obviously, being these teams are in the same division. 6-0 against the spread their last 6 times in Arrowhead. So the Raiders have a little bit of history on their side here. They've been a little bit better than the Chiefs, I guess. Again, they have one more win, and at least they've shown some sign of life on offense. But, the Chiefs, they've been running the ball well. 3rd in the league in rushing yards, an excellent run-blocking offensive line. Jamal Charles, a top-shelf running back. I do expect the Chiefs to have some success against the Oakland Raiders in this game on offense, or more than they did in their last game against Tampa, which is why I look at the over here. Very interesting. Now, the total in this game in Vegas opened at 43.5. It's since been bet down to 42 in most places in Vegas. It is 41.5 right now on BETDAQ. And you would lean towards the over just because both these teams are bad on defense, and the Chiefs can run the ball. The Raiders can pass the ball. Oakland's top 10 in the league in passing yards. So you can envision scenarios where both offenses might have success. 41.5, especially the total on BETDAQ, that's an extremely low total. You'd think, well, these teams will probably get over that total. But like I said, there has been movement in the other direction out in Vegas, and the public money is still pouring in on the under out in Vegas. And you look at the recent trends in this series. The Chiefs have just been playing a lot of under football, period. Chiefs' last 10 home games, the under is 8-2. Chiefs' last 10 games against division opponents, against AFC West opponents, the under is 9-1. And you see the under is 12-2 in the last 14 games between these two teams. So for whatever reason, when these two teams get together, not a whole lot of points are scored. You would think because these teams know each other so well, playing twice a year, that the defenses have figured the offenses out. Or maybe since the Chiefs seem to play under football against everybody in the AFC West, maybe just everybody else in the AFC West has figured the Chiefs offense out. Whatever it is, a lot of trends point towards the under here. The total has fallen a couple of points in Vegas. But now that it's down to 41.5, or what it is on BETDAQ at 41.5, is it time to get on the over? Oakland has a decent offense. They've shown some signs of life. Now, I say they have a decent offense. It's funny. The Raiders haven't had trouble compiling yards this year. They're top 10 in passing yards per game. They have had trouble scoring, though. We mentioned 25th in the league in points per game. They're only averaging 18 points a game. So the Chiefs only averaging 17 points a game. Kansas City, by the way. Kansas City's averaging 17 points a game and allowing 30 points a game. So maybe it's a little bit laughable, the scenario I was talking about a couple of minutes ago, how both these teams are still in it. But the reality is they play in the AFC West. They are still in it. If these teams can turn it around, and I'm sure in the bye week, Romeo Crennel preached to this Chiefs team, guys, if we can just get it together and win a couple of games, they have a couple of division games in a row here against Oakland and San Diego. They could get this thing going. They could turn it around. We'll see. If they can't win this game against the Oakland Raiders, who are winless on the road this year, 2-4 as we said on the year. I know the Chiefs haven't played well at home in these recent years against the Oakland Raiders, but still, if they can't beat the Raiders now at home, when are they going to beat the Raiders? The Chiefs need this game in the worst way. They've got a bad team coming into Arrowhead Stadium. And, throughout the week I've been leaning towards Kansas City in this game for that reason. You think, well, the Chiefs, they weren't that bad last year, first of all. It's a surprise the Chiefs are as bad as they are this year. They're only 2 years removed from winning the AFC West. They were only a game out of first in the AFC West last year. A lot of Chiefs fans thought that with a couple of players returning from injury, that they'd be pretty good this year. Certainly, not many people expected them to be 1-5 at this point. And so I've been thinking, well, Kansas City might be the right play in this game, might come through with a home win here. Oakland is so inconsistent. But, the Raiders are so strange and inconsistent, and they have shown signs of life on offense. The Raiders have some good players on offense. Carson Palmer can still throw the football. Darren McFadden, an excellent running back, even though his rushing numbers this year not great. I'm starting to think Oakland might pull out a victory here. I know Kansas City needs the game. Situationally, Kansas City looks like the play. And it's not that I put that much stock in the trends like Oakland having so much success recently in Arrowhead Stadium. I'm just beginning to feel like the Oakland Raiders might be a slightly better team. Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs really are as bad as they look. But I think my favorite bet in this game would be the over. 41.5. I realize all the trends point towards the under. I realize this total has fallen a couple of points in Vegas. Now, I know that makes a lot of people nervous when you're betting into a line move, so to speak. But these are two bad defenses. The Chiefs, 30th in the league in points allowed this year. As I've mentioned a couple of times, we've seen Oakland have some success in the passing game. And Oakland can't stop anybody, really. 27th in the league in points allowed. The Chiefs have had a bye week to figure it out on offense. Brady Quinn has had a little bit of time to sort of get his feet wet as quarterback here. Over 41.5 might be the play here. Whichever team wins this game will still be in it in the AFC West, but I tell you what, it's going to take more than this victory to get either one of these teams any respect around the league.